Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great day. It's another Motivation Monday. And as always, I hope you all had a great weekend and you're looking forward to an awesome week. I want to take a few minutes today and talk with you about forgiveness. It is one of the least acknowledged obstacles that many people face on their journey to fulfilling their destiny, their purpose, or simply achieving your goals or aspirations. Many people want to push this to the side or sweep it under the rug because it's so painful, rehashes a lot of hurt and pain, and we just want to push it in the corner. But as we make our way to our destination, we have to continue to look around us to see if there are any obstacles or anything that could potentially hinder us. And the truth is, unforgiveness is one of the major obstacles that many people face. And once they overcome that obstacle, they're able to push forward and get further than they were before. So let's take some time and talk about forgiveness. We've all been through some kind of hurt, some kind of pain. Sometimes these are things that happened to us when we were younger, where we really didn't have a whole lot of control over what took place. Or it could have happened while we were adults. And sometimes we hold on to the pain and the hurt, and we simply have to get to a place where we let that go. Forgiveness happens in two stages. One, we first have to forgive ourselves, and then we have to forgive the person that have offended us or hurt us. I know that different people have experienced different levels of traumatic experiences, some to the magnitude that is mind boggling. However, we all have been through some kind of hurt or pain, and it's come to the point where we have to acknowledge what we've been through and we have to forgive. So let's talk about forgiveness and really what we have to do on our journey to get to a better place. Forgiveness can be defined as the peace and understanding that comes from blaming that which has hurt you less, taking the life experience less personally, and changing your grieving story to something more positive. And I know that may sound good, and you may say, well, that's not really going to work for me because what I went through was so devastating, was so life changing. How can I cause it to hurt me less? But that's why we're going to talk about forgiveness in details so we can get to the bottom, get to the root, and change things, turn things around so that we can move beyond these roadblocks and get better results. Because the truth is, it may be holding you back. Every time you get ready to move forward, these scenes continue to play back and forth in your mind. And if you're not careful, it will slow you down. I know personally in my life that I've been through some experiences that whenever things don't go well, I begin to reflect on the hurt and the pain. And if I'm not careful, I'll find myself stuck where I'm spinning day after day, blaming myself for things that happen. Let's have an honest conversation about our feelings and let's deal with what happened. Let's bring it to the forefront. The truth is, if we keep pushing it away, if we keep avoiding it, evading it, sweeping it under the rug, it will not solve the issue that we're faced with day in and day out. Sometimes every month we're dealing with the same thing, or every year that bad memory comes back. And we have to acknowledge the fact that yes, it did hurt. You have to trust yourself enough to be honest with yourself and said what happened did hurt. That's the first step, is acknowledging the fact that the pain that you experience, that it is real. The hurt that you experience, it is real. And forgiveness now has to become the main focus of how you move forward. We have to get the right perspective on what happened and understand that everything that happened in our life happened for a reason. It may not have been pleasant. I'm not here to paint a pretty picture that what you went through, it was pleasant. And somehow by you trying to refocus, it's going to change what experience you went through. No, what I'm simply saying is that where you are right now, you have to look back at what you went through and see how that can benefit you for your future. Maybe it's you saying, I made a mistake, and the lesson I learned, I will not put myself in a position where I can be taken advantage of again. I know there are things that may have happened where it was beyond your control, but now you have a more keen sense of looking out for the different signs that point to something happening where you can avoid a repeat of the past. And that's how important it is. So, not just looking back and saying, well, yeah, I went through some bad experience, some people did some bad things to me, but how can you use that for your advantage? How can you use it for a learning experience? How can you get the right perspective? And it may cause you some physical ailments where you feel tension in your body. You feel that stress coming on you, but you need to refocus and now say, I'm going to shift this to see how I can benefit from this in the future. You may feel upset. You may feel angry. That bitterness may want to rise up in you, but now you have to shift it and say, what I have learned from my past, I will not duplicate in my future. That's exactly what it is. It was simply your past. So we have to put our energy into looking at ways to get positive goals or positive results based on the things that we experienced in our past. Instead of mentally replaying the hurt and how things went down and how bad things were and how you want to blame those around you. The truth is they should bear some responsibility for what they did, but this is more so about you. This is about you overcoming this struggle, overcoming this challenge, overcoming this thing that you've been battling in your mind. Every time you get ready to get some peace about it, you have to fight yourself to let go of the hurt that's holding you back. I want you to remember that the best revenge in life is not for you to go back and execute judgment on the person that did you wrong, but it's for you to overcome and live a life of purpose, live a life of destiny. It's for you to live well. It's the best revenge because it goes to show them that what they did could not destroy you. What they did could not bring you down. What they did could not hold you back. Now you're focusing on overcoming. Now you're focusing on getting stronger. Now you're focusing on accomplishing those dreams and those goals. And you're looking around you for people who are positive, people who are filled with love, people who have the gift to help you heal. Those are the people that you have to surround yourself with and not go back to the people who keep hurting you. There comes a point where you cannot keep looking back. You cannot keep going back expecting different results. You have to simply make up in your mind that I will align myself with people who can help me heal and not keep me in a place where I'm always hurt. So I'm going to share with you these 7 steps to achieving optimal healing. The best healing possible when it comes to forgiveness and moving on. We've already covered one, which talks about acknowledging the pain. And I know it's hard sometimes for you to really go back and rehash and talk about some of the things, but it's just being honest with yourself and dealing with the fact that what you feel, it's real. It's real pain, it's real hurt, and sometimes you may have to cry. Sometimes you may have to take a break. Sometimes you have to walk away just to get yourself in a place where you are more conditioned to deal with certain things. You have to regroup, you have to regather, but dealing with the fact that you are hurting is very essential. 2, you have to think through the pain. Now that you're honest about what you're feeling, now you're honest about what you're going through, now that you've admitted the fact that what happened in life did hurt you, it did injure you, it did set you back. Now you have to move past the sadness and the anger and think through strategies that you can use to get better results. And this is where we have goals and setting smart goals, looking at things that we want to get done so that we can move beyond the pain. And setting goals, they're very important. Having a journal where you're actually writing down some of the things that you want to accomplish, this becomes very important. 3, put yourself in the shoes of the offender. And this is the hard part. This is the tough part. This is the hard part. This is the part that takes a lot of strength. This is the part that takes a lot of boldness. People tend to hurt others because of 2 reasons. 1, it's either out of selfishness or it's out of ignorance. Most prominently, it's out of ignorance. So putting yourself in the shoes of the person that offended you, gives you an advantage because now you're realizing that the person may not have meant it. They may not have meant to hurt you in the manner in which they did because they just simply didn't know any better. This goes for people who've been hurt by their parents because they hurt you because they were raised a certain way and they thought that was the right way to deal with certain things. Sometimes it's siblings or friends. They do not know any better. They acted out of ignorance. They acted out of what they knew at the time, and yes, it did hurt you. So this is where you have to put yourself in their shoes and ask yourself the question, did they know any better? And oftentimes it's no. Then you have some people who hurt you out of selfishness, and then you have to put yourself in their shoes and try not to do the same thing to others that are around you. This is so powerful. There's a quote, I know it's a cliche. It says that hurt people hurt people. So if you don't want to hurt anyone else around you, just reflect on the hurt that you've experienced and tell yourself, I will never repeat that because what they did to me, they did it to me out of selfishness, and I will not repeat that selfishness. I will not be selfish enough to hurt someone else around me. Number 4, remember that God has forgiven you. This is where I want to spend some time. This is where I want to spend a few minutes and talk with you about God's grace being enough. God's grace being enough. We know that we have not always done the right thing. We know that we have not always done the right thing. We know that we have not always followed all the steps and guidelines that our parents may have set, law enforcement may have said, God may have said, but somehow God keeps forgiving us because His grace, His unmerited kindness, His kindness that He extends to us that we did not work for, we could not earn. He extends that kindness and says, I forgive you. I forgive you of everything you've done wrong. All of your past, where you simply just messed things up, where you just kept doing things the way that you wanted to do it. You had no regard for right or wrong. You just wanted to do you because it felt right, or you just didn't have any credence or any care for anyone around you that was being hurt or anyone that was being offended, but God still forgave you. So now, just as God has forgiven you, you have to take into account that people around you, although they may not deserve it, but God's grace is enough. Just like you didn't deserve God's forgiveness, but He forgave you. The people who are around you who have hurt you, the people in your past who have hurt you, truthfully, they may not deserve the forgiveness, but you have to extend the same grace that God has extended towards you, where He forgave you. You now have to take on that grace. And you may not be at the point where you're ready to make that phone call or ready to meet that person, or you may not be at a place where you're ready to fully reconcile, but forgiveness is something that takes place on the inside, where you simply let things go. You've let go of the hurt. You've let go of the pain. You don't have to walk around with that burden. You don't have to walk around with that pain. You can change the atmosphere. You can change the forecast in your life. I know that it seems like it's always storm cloud and rain, but you can change the forecast and say, I'm ready to let the sun shine in. I want my life to shine. I want sunshine. Now you have to take that step to extend that grace that although they truly do not deserve it, but it's the right thing to do because God has already extended His grace towards you. 5, God wants us to forgive. Just as He has forgiven us, He wants us to forgive others. This was very popular when Jesus taught about prayer. He stressed the importance of forgiving one another. He actually said that if you hold anything against someone, that your prayers could be hindered. And this is where it comes down to your purpose being hindered. This is where it comes down to your destiny being hindered. This is where it comes down to your dreams being hindered because of unforgiveness. It can stop you. It's a roadblock. It's a hurdle. It's an obstacle, and you have to get over it. 6, let go of the pain. Once you've gone through the stages that I've just mentioned and you're refusing to hold on to the pain, you're refusing to hold on to the hurt, and you're not replaying the offense over and over and the things that people did to you, and you've actually allowed yourself to let go of the sadness and the anger, then you'll begin to move on. You'll begin to let go of the pain. You begin to determine that you have the power of choice and that the offender does not have the power over you. Wow, your emotions might not agree with this decision because the hurt is there, but the pain will begin to go away when you begin to forgive. When you begin to tell yourself that this person that have wronged me, the person that have done me so wrong in my life, that I'm willing to let go and release them of the debt that they may have owed. I want to release them of the judgment that I have put in my mind that they truly deserve. And at this point, I'm saying, I forgive them. I'm letting it go. I'm putting it in the hands of God. I'm letting God deal with that. I'm not interested in judgment anymore. I'm not interested in justice anymore. I'm letting this go because this person can no longer hurt me. Whenever you hold on to the hurt and the pain, you're actually giving that person power over you. And whenever you see them, you have that uncomfortable feeling in your stomach. Your heart begins to flutter. And some people get nauseated. Some people get frustrated. But when you fully let go, you're walking in freedom. You're walking in freedom. You're free. You've let yourself out of the prison of your mind where you felt like they had control over you because of what they did to you. But by forgiving, you let yourself out and you can smile. 7, we have to continue to work on forgiveness because it's not an overnight thing. It's not an overnight process. I wish I could tell you it's something that happens instantaneously, but sometimes it takes time. It's a process and we have to go through the process. It's a healing process. The wounds were deep and you probably have to forgive more than once. When the memories of what happened comes to your mind, you have to tell yourself that I've already forgiven. I'm already moving past this. I am not going back in a place of pain. I'm going to a place of purpose where I have to let go and move forward. You can do it. It is possible. It's within you. It's necessary. It's important. You have to move beyond this obstacle. You have to move beyond this roadblock. It could be years, way back, but it's necessary for you to forgive, to move past these obstacles. It could be the very thing standing between you and your purpose, standing between you and your destiny. So you must take action. Hope this helps you in some way, shape, or form. Have a great week, and we're looking forward to an awesome month, and I'll talk with you another time.